Hey, Dr. Kelly here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about circadian rhythms. How would you even build a quantum day? What does that look like? Really specifically on how to support your circadian rhythms. Most specifically about light and dark. I'll mention other circadian rhythms, but I'm going to specifically address light and dark, honoring the light and dark cycle of the day and how that supports our circadian rhythm and what would that even look like in a day. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, certainly leave us comments. And also, if you haven't already, if you would please subscribe to my channel, that is very helpful. So thank you so much for being here and happy healing. So let's talk about circadian rhythms. Specifically, I want to talk about light and dark and how we support our circadian rhythms by honoring the light and dark cycle of the day. So our you might have heard circadian clock. Sometimes people call it that, but it's the 24-hour. It's based on the 24-hour day. So it resets based on the light and dark each day. And if we are honoring the light and the dark of the day, then that helps our body orient to the time of year, the season that we're in, and the time of day. So then our body knows when to make what hormones. It knows it can orient itself, if that makes sense. So one of my clients just said today, well, how would I even know? We were talking about quantum healing and really honoring your circadian rhythms. And she said, well, how would I even build a day? So we were talking about building a quantum day, which is really fascinating. But I think it's helpful to just start with honoring light and dark, honoring our circadian rhythms. And I don't have notes, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but I just thought it might be helpful to other people because it's a really good question. I mean, the way that I got into this was sort of backwards. So I started with food, obviously, and I changed up my diet. I changed a lot of things about my life, and that was making a lot of improvements, but not actually curing my headaches, my thyroid issue, like some of the things that were still not cured. They weren't better. They weren't getting that much better. So then I just kept digging, right? And then you start to realize, okay, well, you have to heal at the cellular level. And then you go, well, the mitochondria are really important in the cell. And if we can help the mitochondria, then everything else seems to work a lot better. We have deeper healing. So if you want to have deep healing, then you want to make sure that your mitochondria have everything that they need. And what's really important to the mitochondria, oxygen, food, and sunlight. So let's just talk about like, how would we create a day? What would that even look like? Big picture, you're getting up probably a little before sunrise and starting to kind of move around, not turning on all the lights, not doing bright lights until it actually hits sunrise, but then going outside for sunrise. So depending on where you live, that and what you have going on in your life, that might look a little bit differently for different people. But the idea is to get outside, naked eyes, so naked eyes to the skies. You're not going to stare at the sun, but you can at dawn before the sunrise comes up, you can gaze. And that actually is really beautiful and helpful. You don't actually have to see the sunrise, though, to get the benefits. So don't worry about clouds and trees and buildings. You're just getting outside because you're wanting the wavelengths. So we're getting that, you're getting the light, regardless of what your view actually looks like. But you want to get outside for sunrise. Depending on what you've got going on and how much healing you're trying to do will depend on how long you stay out there, plus your life, right? So that's the other piece, is trying to figure that out. I tell people to pop out there for 30 seconds if that's all you've got. If you can do 5 minutes, do that. 10 minutes, great. If you're really trying to heal, 30 minutes to an hour, amazing. So then you want to try to eat breakfast within an hour is what I usually say. 30 minutes is better. So right after sunrise, if you can go ahead and eat your breakfast, that's a good time to do that. And whatever way of eating you're working on for your healing. So a lot of my clients are really focused on getting good protein and good fat and getting a way of eating that's going to be very healing for you. So I'm not going to talk too much about what kinds of food. I'm going to talk about when to eat for your supporting your circadian rhythms. Okay. I talk a lot about food and we can do that at another time, but I'm really just talking about like how do you build your day and you honor these circadian rhythms. It's going to be more about the timing and getting more outside because it's going to be the natural light outside that's going to hit the retina of your eyes and the sensors on your skin. That's why we're like, no sunglasses, no glasses or contacts if you can get all that off. And then as much skin as you can expose. Sunrise, you're not worried about getting sunburned or anything like that. That's not going to be happening then. But you want to get out there and get that sunrise. And then within an hour, eat your breakfast. That's going to help you become more leptin sensitive. So if you do have weight issues or things like that, it's going to be much, much better for your system. Now, if you're somebody who fasts and you're really into fasting and the fasted lifestyle, that's totally fine. There is a place for that. I find with my clients, it's better to go ahead and honor your circadian rhythms and get everything in a better place so that you're healing. And then you can start playing with things like fasting, if that makes sense. Okay, so sunrise, and then you're going to eat breakfast. And with about an hour, then you have UVA light. So UVA light is going to be about an hour after sunrise and at about an hour before sunset. You're going to have these two windows of time where you can get UVA light. UVA light is really helpful for what? Has anybody heard me say this? Mood and focus. So that's what it's most known to support is mood and focus. But it also helps prime the body. So the more you're out in early morning light and in the evening, then you start to become more primed, I guess, or ready to get more UVB light in the middle of the day, which is how we make our vitamin D. Yeah, and it's also really important to get all of the light is important, okay? So in terms of for your mitochondria to know what time of day to make what, you're really making melatonin in the morning. So getting that early morning light is helpful because the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain is called the master clock. And so that information from our sun, and it doesn't matter whether it's really sunny day or cloudy day or whatever, the light, you're going to want to be out there longer if you can, if it's cloudy, but you're still getting the information. So that information is going to set the clock for the day, right? That suprachiasmatic nucleus is going to then help get the information everywhere that it needs to go. So you're going to make your melatonin in the morning, but you're not going to release it until it's dark. Well, guess what happens? Y'all don't make it dark because we have all our lights on at night. We've got our TVs on, we've got our lights, and the blue light. So blue light is outside, but it's best when it's in the full spectrum. It's with the rest of the spectrum of light from the sun. So when you hear about like blue blockers, and it's great to do inside because all of our artificial blue lights are telling our body, they're telling our mitochondria that it's daytime, and it's not daytime. And so you're not releasing the melatonin unless it's dark, because that's when the body is like, oh, it's dark. I should be releasing melatonin so that my person can sleep. So if you've got sleep issues, it's actually really important to get up early. I know it's hard, but you're going to get up early in the day. This is day. This is night. So that's how you're kind of building your day, by getting up with the sunrise, seeing the sunset. If you can get out during UVA light, so about an hour after or an hour after sunrise and an hour before sunset, you're going to be getting outside for some of that UVB light. So you're like, well, how would I do that? Pop outside. If you've got a job where you can't I just think about people who take smoke breaks. People who take smoke breaks can always find time to go smoke a cigarette. So if you can just find time to take a light break where you're getting natural light and you're moving your body a little bit, that's going to be super helpful, even if it's just for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you've got. And then you're going to work your way to more time outside for UVB light. And that's how we're going to make our vitamin D. So the more you can spend time outside, gradually working your way to more time outside for UVB light. If all of this is super confusing, you can I use the Circadian lifestyle app. It's Circadian app, but it's circadian.lifestyle app, and it tells you when to go outside, when to eat, and you can even get little reminders. I took a whole day off when I got that app and just followed it. I didn't have a whole lot planned that day, and I just hit all of the reminders of when to eat, when to exercise, when to be outside, and I did that. And I got to say, it was a little overwhelming at first because I was like, when am I going to work? How am I going to work? You can work this out. You can do this. You're just trying to pop out for sunrise and sunset. That's where you start. And then you try to get out for UVB. And then you try to get out for the UVA light. And then you honor the dark. So getting your house like dimly lit at night, wearing your blue blockers. So these are my day blue blockers, right? So these are my yellow for my daytime. Yeah. And then at night, so if you have to get up super early in the morning before sunrise, then you can get yourself some orange ones. There are Viva Ray makes one where you can clip them on, really cool. These I get from Midwest Red Light Therapy. That's where I get all my red light therapy stuff and my blue blockers, and they're reasonably priced and they are great company, and I like those a lot. So I just wear my orange if I'm going to be up before sunrise, if I have a whole bunch of things to do and I'm going to have to be in light, because I can shower. I have lots of windows in my bathroom, so as long as I can see, I don't really need to see to shower and get ready. So I don't need to do that. But if I need to be cooking in the kitchen, I might need some lights, or if I'm, doing all that. So if it's close to sunrise, I don't really worry about it that much. But if it's really early, I'll stick on these. And then I wear these after sunset. So then I'm blocking the blue light after it. It does take some time to get used to them. And I do find myself like doing things where I can't see, that kind of thing. It is what it is. And then I put my red before bed. So I read at night. And I really don't watch TV anymore at night. I mean, this will change your life and change your lifestyle. But I throw on my red right before bed. And so that really helps my body go, oh yeah, it's super dark. We need to release the melatonin, right? So we've made melatonin earlier in the day. Now we need to release it. So red before bed. Okay, so that's kind of how you're building your day. I really try to get my clients to eat within an hour of sunrise, 30 minutes if you can, an hour of sunrise, then eat lunch in the middle of the day and eat dinner before sunset. If you can, that's going to be really helpful. Now, some of my clients have to do some snacking to get themselves, like we have blood sugar regulation issues. Blood sugar regulation issues are mitochondrial issue. That is at the root, that is a mitochondrial issue. So we're going to support the mitochondria. But I'd rather people be eating if they're hungry. I'd rather them go ahead and have a meal. But sometimes we just have to figure that out. Really good to kind of shift earlier for most people so that you're eating around sunrise, then you're eating a lunch, then you're eating dinner pretty early before sunset. And then don't eat. Don't do a lot of snacking at night. Now, I do have some migraineurs, some people with migraine headaches that find when they have a little bit of steak or just a little bit of salmon later in the evening, that helps them because they wake up with migraines, and that's the problem. So everybody is kind of specific, but really, if you want to heal your gut, you really need 12 full hours between your last meal and your first meal. So that's why most people do really well when we sort of shift things a little bit earlier, if that Yeah, does that make sense? Hopefully that's making sense here. Who knows? Y'all can leave comments. So that's kind of how you're building your day. Exercise is an interesting one. So most of us like to exercise in the morning because if we don't do it, then it won't get done. And oh, I just thought of something else. About like what do you do if how do you work your life into this? So we'll get to that. So exercise. You can definitely do exercise whenever it works for you and your body. The best time of day, so if you're using the Circadian app, it will tell you the best time of day is right now for me where I'm living in Florida, it's 4 p.m. right now. And it's usually somewhere in the afternoon, somewhere between like 2 and 5 p.m. is kind of the window. And I find that really challenging personally. So I've just started doing what I can. You just do what you can to try and get your exercise in. I think it's better to exercise than not exercise for me. So I figure that out. And you can definitely do what works for you. But I think it's the most important place to begin is really with the light and the dark and honoring that, and then figuring out the windows of time to eat that really seem to work best for your body and adjusting those as you can so that it is supporting your circadian rhythms. I think that's kind of how you would set the day. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. What do you do? Like, how do you do this? Right? So you get out for sunrise and you get out for sunset as much as you can. During UVA, maybe you take the dog for a walk during that time. Maybe you're driving during that time, roll the windows down. A lot of people will ask me, well, I'm right next to a window at work. How about that? Modern windows today block the light that we're trying to get. So you can open the window and let the light in, and you can open the windows in the car because that light will be able to get in. The thing is you want to not have your sunglasses or your glasses or your contacts. So if you can't drive without all those things, so what I will usually do, I don't wear sunglasses at all anymore. I don't even know where my sunglasses are at this point. So, but that's been a process of just more and more light early morning and evening, and then working my way to more and more time outside for vitamin D or for UVB light, which is also helping me get my vitamin D. So in taking vitamin D, by the way, is not going to do the same as getting it from the sun, as making it yourself with sunlight from the sun. And we have to have enough cholesterol. You've got to eat enough fat for to be able to make your hormones. And vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. It's really like a master hormone, but we won't go into that. But it's fat soluble, so we need good fat, and a lot of my clients don't eat enough fat. I said I wasn't going to talk about food though, so but I think that you need to be appropriately hydrating, and also you do need to be working on a way of eating that's really supporting your body. And from a quantum perspective, that's going to be seasonal food. So eating things that are seasonally appropriate, real food, and also local if you can, because then that is going to give your body information. So your mitochondria, it's just helping your mitochondria out to know where it is in time and space, what season it's in. And when you're eating at certain times of the day, then it knows what time of day it is. And when you're consistent about that, then you have more and more benefits. And your body starts to get into this rhythm of like, oh, okay. And you're more in sync with nature and the environment that you're in. And then everything starts to work better. Hormones are working better. Everything starts to work better and much more clear. So from a quantum day, oh, should I even mention this? Okay, I'm gonna take your shoes off so that you're earthing while you're outside as much as you can earth while you're outside. Oh, I should say that UVB light isn't available in certain areas in the winter. And so you want to get your UVB light as much as you can. It doesn't mean that you're not going to pop outside, so that your body at least is getting outside as much as possible, getting that light, whatever light is available. And if you can, take your shoes off and earth So your feet on Earth's surface, you're going to get free electrons through our skin. That's how we get the free electrons. And the benefits are almost instantaneous. So you can do that really quickly, a couple seconds outside with bare feet. So if it's freezing where you are, that's going to be a much quicker situation than if it's really warm where you are. But that's kind of how you're building your quantum day. And you're really just syncing up with the natural nature and the natural rhythms of the environment that you're in. And that's how you're building your day, is based on the light and dark cycle of the day. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that that's making sense to people. I'm trying to think of all the things that people say, well, I can't do that because I can't, well, I have lots of people with digestive issues and sleep issues and real in depression and anxiety and all of those kinds of things. And it's definitely challenging. With digestive folks, they don't want to eat breakfast usually. And so we just have to start where we can start. If you start with sunrise and sunset and then work your way to eating the 3 meals, then you just do what you can do. Same with people with sleep issues. Then they don't sleep at night, and so then they have a hard time getting up in the morning. I absolutely understand that. Roll yourself out of bed, pop yourself outside. You don't have to do much of anything. Just go out there for a few seconds. If you have to go back to bed because you're exhausted, then go back to bed. But at least you're getting that early morning light and you're consistently doing that. It's going to be much more helpful for your body to know when to make melatonin. And then blocking the blue light at night and dimming all the lights in your house, that's going to make a big difference for you releasing the melatonin. And remember, all your hormones need fat. So most of the people that I work with don't eat enough fat. I already said that. Really figuring out when to take these light breaks can be a little tricky for people given whatever their work is or how their day is designed. And you just have to design a circadian day, have it, and see how it goes. And then go from there. Sort of go, okay, well, so morning light was easy, but evening light, going out for sunset was really challenging. It's right in the middle of when I'm supposed to be doing whatever you're supposed to be doing, running a group or getting kids or making dinner or whatever it is. And so you just know that might be something you do 2 or 3 times a week and until you can get a rhythm. If you do it consistently every day, that's going to be better than like once a week for 30 minutes kind of thing. So if you're like, well, I know on Saturdays that I can go out for early morning light because that's my schedule will let me do that. That's better than nothing, but 2 minutes, a minute every single day is going to be better for setting your internal clock. You've already got this internal clock. It's already there. It's just confused usually because of the way that we live our lives. And so it's releasing stuff or not releasing things. And so that's what we're trying to support. That's what we're trying to fix, is aligning with those circadian rhythms so that our circadian rhythm is supported. I think that's pretty much it. Now, there is the longer you can spend out there. No, I want to just say that if you've got a serious chronic illness that if you're trying to heal something, a chronic illness, maybe it's autoimmune stuff, digestive stuff, anxiety, depression, whatever you've got that you're trying to heal, the longer you can stay out in early morning light and in the evening light, and then work your way to longer periods outside during the middle of the day, the longer you can be out there is going to be better. But you have to move slowly at your own pace. You don't actually have to move slowly. That's not true. I would recommend that you move slowly for UVB light because the idea is not to go out there and burn. And so I would say, really work on early morning and evening light first and then start working on UVB light, getting out for UVB light. And if you're in the middle of winter and UVB light is not ready, then just start popping outside. It's a great time to get practice of popping outside and get ready for when summer rolls back around, or when you're able to get UVB light again, then you'll be ready to get that UVB light. You can get a Spurdy D light, or that helps you with your vitamin D. They're pretty expensive. I think I have a couple clients with Spurdy D lamps. They love them. They think they're really great. And when your vitamin D is really low and you live in an area where you can't get vitamin D all year round, that's probably a decent investment. I'm a big fan of red light therapy. So I'm much more inclined to have my clients get photobiomodulation, red light therapy. So that could be laser, but we're not talking about lasers. We're talking about red light therapy, because the red light I find is very healing to people, especially to mood and energy. But it also is very, and it helps with inflammation, lower inflammation, which is always going to be helpful for the people who come to me. So red light therapy, I'll do a whole thing on red light therapy and what that looks like. And you could start putting that into your quantum day. But for now, just honor those circadian rhythms as best that you can by light and dark, when you eat and when you move your body, and see how you feel. Try it if you'd like, and leave comments if you would like about how that's working, or questions that you might have. I try to answer questions on Instagram. So check out my Instagram account if you want to get some questions answered there. I think that's probably it. So happy healing.